Loudon County Chair Phyllis Randall and County Supervisors Karan Sains and Sylvia Glass visited Ghana to start a sister city relationship. It was a taxpayer-funded trip, and 7 News exposed how the trip cost more than $60,000. The 3 elected officials stayed at a luxury 5-star resort and flew United Polaris business class, each airline ticket costing more than $7,300 for the elected officials. And the elected officials brought a man on the trip whose wife donated to Randall's and Sain's political campaigns. Taxpayers footed the bill for the man's flights, hotel, food, and other expenses in Ghana. Loudon County Supervisor Kristen Umstead has concerns.
I think it looks bad from the public's viewpoint. It looks like the county is playing favorites. Now, on the other side, I've talked to economic development staff, and their position is if the county was going to have a relationship with Ghana, he was the one individual in the county who could help facilitate that. But you always have to be very careful not to commingle campaign donations with government efforts. So I don't think it looks great, to be honest.
Umstead is also concerned about ongoing human rights issues in Ghana.
I'm concerned about 2 issues with Ghana, and I wish I had known about them earlier and had familiarized myself about them earlier. Ghana has issues with LGBTQ rights, significant issues, and has for quite some time. It also has issues with child labor.
Draft legislation in Ghana would make identifying as gay or being an ally of the LGBTQ community a second-degree felony.
Why did you choose Ghana with their track record on LGBTQ rights?
I am so glad you asked that question. It's such a valid question, and it has quite a long answer. When we first looked in Africa, one of the things we considered was human rights overall. And you said the right words. You said draft legislation. That legislation hasn't been put through because as we were planning this sister city trip, we reached out to the officials in Ghana and said, we can't do that with their LGBTQ policy, and that legislation never went through.
However, the legislation is still being considered by the government, and same-sex conduct is already a crime in Ghana. Randall says these trips are in an effort to attract more international business to Loudon County.
I want to kind of investigate chocolate processing. Ghana has some of the best cocoa beans in the world.
But the U.S. Department of Labor reports more than 1.56 million children on the Ivory Coast and Ghana are engaged in child labor on cocoa farms, and that children in Ghana are subjected to the worst forms of child labor, including in fishing and cocoa production and harvesting.
Is that a partnership you want?
One of the companies we worked with, we talked to, was a very small woman-owned company, and some of the things I asked her when we talked about where she harvests her chocolate from were those very issues. Again, we didn't take this trip lightly. We did a lot of research.
Nick Minock, 7 News.